Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. I'm going to be talking all about my thoughts on a number of different trends that I've seen popping up in a lot of online spaces. So everything from black girl luxury, soft life, feminine energy and all of the above. I'm going to be covering it in this nice chit chat, get ready with me. So if you like the sound of that, make sure you stop what you're doing right now. Click the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it, and let's get into the topic. Before we do get into the topic, I do just want to say a quick shout out to today's sponsor and thank them for working with me on this video. So I am going to show you guys a few items that were kindly gifted to me by Italo jewellery and share with you why I love them so much. So what is so lovely about this jewellery is that it comes in this gorgeous box, obviously, and when you open it up, it's got this lovely ring display box, which both the rings that I'm wearing now come in. It also comes with a certification, jewellery care guide, a 1-year warranty, and your 60-day return policy, as well as a guide on how to disinfect your jewellery products. I picked out this like round cut eternity band, this one with this lovely like pear-shaped pink detail in the middle, and they are just super gorgeous. The other great thing about Italo is the fact that the items kind of feel really like good quality. They don't feel too flimsy. They offer worldwide shipping as well, so you can get it no matter where you are. They have a 60-day return period and really decent prices. So a big thank you to Italo for sponsoring today's video. They were also kind enough to give me a discount code, so if you put Nodreen 20 in on the website when you're purchasing anything, you'll get 20% off any piece of jewellery. I will have the links to the 2 pieces that I got in the description box below, along with my discount code and a link to their website and Instagram as well, so you can go and check them out. But yeah, thank you so much to today's sponsor, and let's get into the video. So I'm just going to do I'm going to do a really light sort of everyday makeup look while we get into these topics. The reason why I wanted to tackle this topic, or this sort of group of topics, is actually because somebody commented like, I put up a post on the community tab on my channel, which if you don't check that, please do, because you'll get like previews of all the like videos that I'm going to upload and all like my content ideas that I've got. So the person commented that they would like to see me talk about my thoughts on soft life, the black girl luxury movement, and then I just threw in like things that sort of sit around that, so like femininity and like the sort of like, you know, the trend of like getting in touch with your feminine energy and all of the stuff that kind of links around that. My thoughts on luxury are that if you are somebody who can spare the funds and you like nice handbags, you like, you know, the sort of handmade and more like especially crafted items, then, and you can afford it, then hey, why not? I guess what I don't understand is why there is like this offshoot which is like specifically black girl luxury. I thought it was just luxury. And I get it, I actually get it. I think it's a lot to do with the fact that maybe there is a view that in a lot of markets black women have been underserved or underappreciated as, one, consumers of luxury goods, but also like worthy like advocates for luxury brands. So I know like in the beauty industry, for example, it's like, you know, they kind of always use the same faces as far as like influencers go, and it's like the black women who actually have a real influence and who really can drive sales are being overlooked. That's when I sort of came into the space, or like the YouTube space, that's kind of what it was. I feel like things are changing now, things have changed, but there's always, you can always do better. So I feel like this is just my personal opinion, I mean, this might be completely wrong, but this is my observation, is that maybe the black girl luxury movement came out of black women just wanting to be seen as, you know, hey guys, like, we are here purchasing luxury goods as well, and we are also consumers just as much as our white or Asian counterparts. So there's that, but then I think there's also in some communities, like some African communities, I think that's all I can speak on, I am African, there's always been, or maybe it's not even African communities, but when you grow up in a background where money isn't necessarily in abundance, I think there is a level of like guilt associated with buying yourself nice things, because you think, could this money be put to better use, or should I be spending this amount of money on this item when X and such is going on? And I think as a black woman, a lot of people can identify with maybe the guilt that comes with like treating yourself to nice things, which is sad. And I'm glad that those who can are choosing to, you know, love themselves, invest in themselves. Oh, not my lace showing. And realizing that we deserve, like, hashtag we deserve. This has been a saying of mine and my friends for some time, but black women deserve nice things too. I think that's very much a common understanding now, but it hasn't always been. And I think a lot of us first generation African girls have like really had to do the work to to kind of overcome some of that guilt, which is, you know, you can see it's coming from a place of a lot of the time it's come from a place of, well, my parents worked really hard to get us into this country, and you know, everything I do should be in, you know, in a bid to like give back to them, and I get that, but sometimes giving back to them is as much about giving to yourself and making your life and making your life pleasant and enjoyable as much as it is, you know, giving back to them. So that's what my thoughts on, maybe it's not black girl luxury, maybe it's African girl luxury, but I can only speak about it from a place of, you know, from where I see it. So my thoughts on that continuing as a trend, I would like to see it not have to be a trend. I would like to see black women recognised in the luxury goods market as consumers, you know, as, what's the word, as rightful consumers as much as everybody else, so we don't have to like branch out and create our own movement around it. Like, why? Why are we doing this? Or why should we have to do this? So yeah, I also think possibly it could be maybe an opening for loads of like black owned or black women owned luxury brands to like make their splash in the market, because I think it's very much, the luxury market is very much dominated by a few well-known brands, like all the like top like Italian and like French designers, we know who they are. But I would like to see more black owned luxury brands come to the forefront and really like make their stamp in the market. So, you know, if that could also be what black girl luxury is about, then I'm here for it. So yeah, black girl luxury, what a time to be alive. I grew up in a time where any luxury is about having, I don't know, brand name snacks in your lunchbox rather than the supermarket owned brand or the supermarket's basics brand. So we've come a long way, girls. But black girl luxury, I'm here for it. Whatever purpose it serves, if it is moving us forward as a people, then I am here for it. So yeah, that's that. Soft life. I guess that kind of nicely branches off on that topic. Soft life is a really fun one for me, because I whenever a new trend emerges, I'm always like trying it on, like normally for jokes, at home. So I guess what is soft life, or what people define as soft life, I guess it's also everything's subjective, but to me how I interpreted it is basically living a more, what's the word, gentle, slow, leisurely pace of life, and not having to work too hard or to stress or to just live easy, you know. That's, and anything that kind of sits around that, I guess, is what the girls are calling soft life these days. So I kind of take the mickey a bit. I take the British phrase, sorry, to all my American viewers, but I like to make a bit of a joke out of everything, just so I can like really get to the root of it all, or to get to an understanding of, okay, what is this about? And I think that again, soft life is very much something that originated in the black community, the black female community, and it's all come from a place of, we have to, you kind of grow up, you're told you have to work twice as hard, or you have to be better than your counterparts to be even seen as equal, to even get a foot in the door. And I love this movement because it's basically saying, no, we are tired of working hard. We also want to, effortlessly glide into all of our opportunities and effortlessly glide through life without having to stress or work harder than everybody else. Like, it's that era is over, I think. Well, maybe it's not over, but I think we are tired of acknowledging that as just the norm or as the done thing. Like, we are ready to also benefit from nepotism and, be treated like princesses and not have to work so hard to get the basic necessities. So I stand behind that, if that's what that is all about. So in my household, like, soft life to me means I don't take the bins out. I refuse to take the bins out. I refuse to do any gardening. I refuse to do too much DIY, because that's not living softly for me. Now, realistically, those are just not things I'm good at. Barring taking the trash out, like, that's just me being funny. But it's interesting that it's going to lead really well into the next topic. But I find it interesting that as a group of people who grew up living, for a lot of people, what was a very hard life, this is where we're at, and I embrace every part of the journey. And I think that at its most positive, this is a welcome movement, because why should you have to struggle in life if you don't? I get why people struggle, don't get me wrong, like, there's a difference between this and, like, not having the resources. But if you have the resources and you're living in, the first world, and, you have access to all your basic needs, and you have a job, and you're like, a career and everything, like, why should your life be hard? Like, this is not what our ancestors fought for. So yeah, soft life me all the way. I think there's a lot of things that people have now associated with soft life, which, I don't know, like, we make the rules basically, but a lot of it is, taking yourself out, going for a spa day. It's getting cocktails with the girls, or going out to dinner, or And then I guess when you like think about it in the sense of how, you know, the opposite sex or same sex or whatever treats you, then it's like, you know, being taken out to dinner and being treated to gifts and not having to lift a finger. Like it's all things that women essentially are saying, yeah, we want these things. We want to be treated with care and with love and, you know, gently. And what's wrong with that? Now, obviously, with everything, some things are taken too far, and it's like, oh, I'm not going to like go to work today because of soft life. Well, you know, we have to be practical here, girls. I'm sure like we're all adult enough to understand like where soft life ends and where real life begins. So I'm all for it. Like as long as things are not taken too far, like I'm all for living a softer life, because life is hard enough already without us making it even more difficult for ourselves. So yeah, to me, soft life is treating yourself or being, you know, being treated by others to, you could almost call it even a life of luxury and leisure, you know, being a lady of leisure. Which is funny because all of these concepts are like going back to, you know, going back in time, like where women were very much seen as, well, most women were like kept, and you know, we didn't work, and you know, men would go to work and go out and make money. We would stay home, look after the house, and yeah, that was our role in life. So it almost seems like with soft life and the next topic, which is going to be like all about feminine energy, people are trying to like get back to that model, because we are tired of working. We're actually tired. Tired of working, tired of like being the drivers of everything, like, sorry, the drivers, the force that is moving a lot of things forward. Like women also just want to rest, and I can completely understand and identify with that. So soft life, me, yes. What is soft life to me though? To me, soft life is, there's a lot about self-care, and it's also about learning to manage stress and anxiety and not take on too much, not say yes to everything, and allow people to step in and help me and step in and do things for me. Because even when I know I can do it myself, but like, let people help you. So to me, that is soft life. I will say, obviously, it's, you know, I come at soft life from the perspective of a woman who's in a relationship. So, you know, there's perks there, I guess. But it doesn't have to be all about what a man can do for you. Sometimes it's just about taking time out for yourself and doing things for yourself. And, yeah, just allowing that energy into your life. It's so funny because I'm a 90s baby, right? And so I grew up in an era where it was all about, we were kind of like coming off the tail of independence and women's rights and like feminism and all of that kind of thing. And so to see things kind of take a shift, I'm not saying that women don't want to be independent anymore, don't want to be like, don't want to have those freedoms. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying it's interesting that the perception, there's a big perception that's going around where it's a perception thing. Because I think back then it was very much women wanted to be perceived as being independent, as being equal, and as being as good as men, if not better. And I'm not saying that's changed, but I'm saying that now we're very much welcoming men to kind of play back into their traditional roles and like be the provider and be the breadwinner and all of this, at its extreme. I'm not saying that everybody feels like that, but it's been interesting to see the shift, I should say. And I think for those of us that kind of grew up either in that era where it was like all about being independent and like getting your shit together and getting your shit done by yourself, it's been, and also being growing up in an African household and having to do a lot of stuff. Shout out all the eldest siblings. Shout out to all of those suffering from oldest child syndrome. I'm here, I stand with you. I am one of you. Yeah, it's been interesting to like see how hard it is for those of us to make the switch to soft life if we want to, where we're so used to hard life, right? Independent life, go get a life, so, or fast life even, because I think a lot of the time soft life is also the opposite of the fast-paced life, where it's like go go go, chase money, get this, get that, do this, do that, tick off your to-do list. Whereas soft life is like, I'm just gonna sit at home today, I'm gonna do a face mask, I'm gonna read a book, I'm gonna have a nice cup of coffee, I'm gonna go for a walk. Like, these are things that people have been doing though. That's the craziest thing to me. These are things that other people have been doing and they just call it life. I feel like, and you know, and now here it's been rebranded as soft life. It's interesting. It's all very interesting. But again, it's a movement I'm here for. I embrace it. My boyfriend is very much like sick of me and my soft life movement, but I also think it helps me to tap into the parts of me that are innately feminine, and you know, that hormonally and like, I guess as far as like society sees it, play into my strengths as a woman. So yeah, if I've got to have a spa day to get there, then yeah, let's have a spa day. Soft life, yeah. All 2020, 2022, 2021, 2023. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Life is hard enough. Let's slow it down. Which moves me on to the topic, the very, very controversial at times topic of femininity. Feminine energy, divine, feminine, all of that. I don't know where to start with this, and I don't know where I'm going to go because I don't really take notes. I just kind of think about, I'll watch some content, I'll consume stuff, I'll process it as I'm watching it, and then I just say, all right, I'm just going to speak. So yeah, as I was saying at the beginning of the video, gosh, my brows are taking ages. This femininity thing, like, has presented itself to me in a few different ways. So one, when I used to make loads of, I used to do more fashion content and like hauls and stuff, I used to get a lot of comments from, and this might be a completely separate topic, but comments from people saying, oh, can you do a video on, you know, how to dress in a more feminine way if you are a man or if you're a male? Which threw me, because this was back in 2014 maybe, and I guess the whole like transgender conversation, I guess the whole gender identity conversation had not come to, I suppose it was not as prevalent as it is now. So I wouldn't really know how to respond to that, because I didn't put the two and two together and think, okay, there are men here who want to know how to dress as women, but in the male form, in the male body. I don't know. I hadn't quite pieced it all together yet. So that's how it presented itself to me in one way. And then there was obviously the sort of the wave of videos from women who were just talking about how to embrace and exude more feminine energy and to be more feminine and to allow yourself to play into your feminine traits, so that the men in your life, or the men that you were trying to attract, would be easily able to embrace their masculine energy. So there's like loads of videos, like a whole channel is dedicated to it, and now it's like it is the topic. And I was talking about this the other day, both at dinner here when my siblings came over, but also at my mum's birthday dinner. And actually, my brother asked her the question, like, do you think that, I think, what did he ask her? He was like, what do you think is femininity? And, you know, my mum kind of said, she gave like the kind of answer that I expected her to give, which was kind of basically like, now, context, always important. She came to this country and from Africa, where in Africa, sorry, look at me saying Africa, from Uganda, which is in East Africa, where women do typically take on more traditional roles than we do here. And then she came here and obviously had to like make a life for herself with my dad. And so there was not a lot of room for being feminine and embracing your divine feminine energy. She had to go and get a job so that she could provide. And so her view on the whole topic, is that generally we all as women have masculine energy and we have feminine energy. We have some things that, or some circumstances that force us to tap into our masculine energy, and circumstances that force us to fall back into our feminine energy. And I was actually quite curious to hear her thoughts on it, because obviously this is the woman that raised me, and yeah, it very much aligns with how I was raised. It's like, yes, it's nice to have a man to support you or to be your partner in life or to, you know, take off the burden, but at the end of the day, you can't sit around and wait for a man to come into your life and rescue you, as it were, because real life is happening whether you want it or not, and you've got to grow up and play the game. So that's kind of how I've always been raised. It's like, you can sit back and be in your feminine energy if you want, and you can like tap into things that will grant you advantages that being a woman does. But in most cases, you've just got to get up and go to work, and you've got to make a good life for yourself before you even start to think about, you know, having a man or like starting a family. Because in this London, in the UK, everything is so expensive. For most of us, you need a 2-income household, and with the cost of living right now, unless you are privileged enough to be, you know, a millionaire, we all have to work pretty hard to provide. Now, that obviously contradicts everything I've said about soft life, but I also do here recognise the value of working smart. But there isn't a lot of, for the average person, there isn't a lot of room for embracing your feminine energy in all aspects of your life. You probably will have to work. So I've rambled on enough without actually talking about what my thoughts are on being feminine. Like, what is it to be feminine? So, you know what? I think what will be helpful here is if I get a dictionary definition and then I talk about what I've been seeing. So, what is feminine energy? And this comes from happierhuman.com. Feminine energy is all of the nurturing traits it takes to connect to human beings in a meaning and fulfilling way. It's compassionate, kind, empathetic, patient, and emotional. It's about embracing your intuition and creativity. Feminine energy is fluid and free. How do you tap into your feminine energy? Develop your intuition. The first way for you to embrace your feminine side is to become more intuitive. Feel your feelings. Rest and recharge. Soft life. Reflect on yourself. Indulge into your creative side. Honor your body. And try cycle syncing. I don't know. Do guys like feminine energy? This is where it gets interesting. Men are actually attracted to women because of their divine feminine energy. This is due to the influence and power of sexual polarity. Polarity essentially means opposites. In terms of attraction, this means that the divine feminine is attracted to the divine masculine and vice versa. Okay, so embracing your feminine energy. Now, I feel like I speak on this topic as a woman, as a female, and I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't think that you have to do too much to embrace your feminine energy. I feel like it's a natural part of who we are, both scientifically, chemically, as far as like your hormones are concerned, and your body, and you know, just how we're designed, how God made us. I think that if you are, I don't think that you have to try, it's not something that we should have to try too hard. I do agree with the fact that maybe some women feel like they've been leaning more into their masculine traits, like their drive and their hustle and ambition and problem solving, and if those are like the classic masculine traits, and so they want to step back more into their more intuitive and creative and emotional and fluid energy. So I hear it, but at the same time I'm like, we are made to be feminine. Like, that is how, and I'm Christian, so I would always come at it from that point of view, but that is how God designed us. Like, for me personally, like, I'm super emotional, which is interesting because I used to suppress my emotions a lot as a child, but shout out to all my eldest siblings, eldest children. I stand with you again. But it's like, I'm super emotional, especially as I get older, and my boyfriend always laughs at me about that. But what I like is that is what is some part of what makes me unique. Sorry, that is part of what makes me a woman, a feminine energy field, or whatever you want to call it. But that's what makes me a woman and a human as well. I also feel like, for me, tapping into my feminine energy is easy because I feel like all the things that have just been described in that definition that represent feminine energy are things that I can identify with. Like, I think as I've gotten older, I've become a lot more intuitive. I'm definitely very creative. Fluid in the sense, yes, that I'm like open-minded and I'm happy to like go with the flow, but there are times I do like control, and that's when I'm leaning into my masculine energy, I guess. But that's because I'm a control freak, and maybe and maybe I have like a very type A personality in the sense. But yeah, I feel like I'm naturally feminine, but it depends on who you ask and in what scenario we're talking about. When it comes to the household, obviously I grew up with a mother who was very resourceful. This is not me here saying that my dad was not resourceful. He was a very hard working man, but my mum took a very active role in managing the household finances, and so I think that that's probably learned behaviour. I also like to take a very active role in managing our household finances. And some people might say that is me stepping into my masculine energy, but to be honest, I'm stepping into my realistic energy, because I just don't know how you could live in a house where you don't know what is going on financially. But that's just my views on that anyway. But I digress. I don't even know what I was saying. So basically, yeah, so am I quite feminine? Yes, but I have both. I have more masculine traits, or energies about me in certain things, like when I'm at work. And a lot of the videos I've seen is like, it's about knowing when to switch on and switch off your feminine energy, or knowing when is an appropriate time to use your masculine energy, which is at work or in your career or in your business or whatever. So, you know, all really like simple things I agree with. I guess where it gets a little bit like problematic for me almost is when it veers so far away from being realistic. I think that we have to be super realistic, especially because this whole topic does not just involve us. Obviously, we are interacting with men, and particularly in our case, and for our generation, men who have gotten very used to women wanting more independence, wanting to be seen as equals or as their, you know, equal counterparts. And now, you know, it's a switch up, and now it's like, okay, no. No, I don't think that people are saying that women don't want to be seen as the equal counterparts because of feminine energy, but there is a bit of a step back into, okay, now I'm happy for you to get this, and I'm happy for you to pay for this, and I'm happy to just sit back and let you take control and whatnot. So I think that if we're not understanding of, you know, how much society has changed and how men have changed in response to women, then I think that we're going to go wrong somewhere here. So, because it's funny, because all of these movements seem to be very much going, it's like trends recycle themselves. Everything is very cyclical, like 90s fashion, and like coming back into like the forefront, and like it just feels like there's nothing new here, that we're just stepping back into what it used to be. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying I think people have to be cognizant of the fact that, you know, we start these movements, but like if you want to bring people along for the journey, I think it's important to recognize where they might be because of where we've required them to be. So, you know, in a case of men, and I'm not here being a pick me, I'm not here, you know, taking up for men. I'm just saying that if you're going with all of these trends, first of all, 1 minute you're screaming independence and freedom and I am, you know, a boss bitch, and then next minute you're screaming soft life, femininity, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that, you do this, you do that, you do that, then I think that's when it gets to be a bit confusing, bordering on toxic. So, okay, maybe toxic is a bit strong, but like, I'm just like, I'm very weary about trends and like trending topics and things that are like, you know, this is what we're doing now, because you just end up confusing people if you're always like going with this or going with that. So I'm here for people embracing their divine feminine energy, but sometimes I don't think there's much, like there isn't that much to it. I'll be real with you, like it's just be a woman. And when you're, by the way, like when I am on and it's like that time of the month, oh, I am very divine feminine. I am all in my feels, all in my emotions, and that's mostly due to hormones. So if it's a hormonal thing, then I don't know. There's just a lot of content around something that I think comes naturally to most. But I recognise, that's why I kind of brought up the comment about what, you know, like I suppose people who were previously men who are now women who want to embrace their feminine energy. I get why there's been a resurgence in this content, because it's not just for women, it's also for other communities, like the transgender community, for example. So it's deep. It's really deep. There's a lot to it, and I wanted to talk on this topic, but I was scared, so I was like, I don't want to offend anybody. But you know, how can I have a platform and not talk about the things that the people want me to talk about? So yeah, I guess my thoughts on, don't get me wrong, right, though, I love this concept of going back to like naturally what we're good at, and women are naturally better nurturers and caregivers, and we tend to be more thoughtful. We do tend to be more patient. Not me though. I'm impatient. I'm my father's daughter. And so I'm all for people like tapping into the things that they are naturally good at, or naturally lean towards, because of science, because of hormones, because of genetics, because of how God made us. And this in particular, I'm like, yeah, I would like to be. My thing is, I'm attracted to a more. Okay, let me think about this before I say it. I am attracted to masculine traits in men, particularly decisiveness, authority, leadership, taking charge, just having a plan. And I don't know if that is because I am in my divine feminine bag when I'm feeling like that, or if it's because I feel like those are qualities I also have. So for me, maybe it's not just about feminine energy, but it's just about match my energy, you know? I think when you grow up in the environment that I grew up, you are very much pushed into a leadership position because your parents are leaning on you to help them out. Whether that's just around the household, or whether it's like setting a good example for like your younger siblings. So you're pushed into a leadership position from a very early age, and therefore you recognize that and you seek that out in other people, especially in your partner. So yeah, I don't know if I seek that out because I am a feminine woman, or if I would like somebody else to do that for a change. I don't know. But I do like the idea of being more soft, being more feminine, being more in touch with my emotions, and yeah, just like taking it back to old school for some things. I think it's practical in this day and age? Not in everything, no. As I said, cost of living is really costing. And so sometimes I feel like as a woman, you might need to step out of your divine feminine energy for a bit and, you know, step into your hustle energy. But that's just because of me and how I've been raised, and my thoughts on money and, you know, security and stability in life. And yeah, I'm an immigrant. Like, I wasn't born in this country, so I came here, and you know, we are the first generation making it here. So I think a lot of that plays into my thoughts on whether or not I would be a happy stay-at-home divine feminine, you know, housewife. Don't get me wrong, I have my days where I'm like, I would love to stay home, raise my children, clean, cook, you know, do all of the things, make the house homely. However, I have never been in that position, and so I don't know how I would respond to that after a while. Maybe I would want to get up and go back to work. But these are all things I'm considering because I'm getting to the stage in my life where I'm thinking about starting a family, and, you know, once I do get pregnant and like have a baby, I will be taking time out of work, and I will be at home more, and, you know, all of those things that it is to be, you know, a woman and a divine feminine woman, like cooking more and all of that stuff. That's things that I have to consider and, you know, embrace more, because my partner won't be able to do it because I'm not doing shared parental leave. I'm not sharing my year off. That is all mine. You get your 2 weeks and then you go back to work. That's how I feel. But I just feel like, okay, if you're in a relationship, be on the same page as your partner. on these things. Like, if you are wanting to embrace more of your femininity and, you know, you want to live the soft life, you know, make it clear, just communicate that. And I think that most people are open to, most men anyway, are open if they love you anyway. I'm not saying they're, I'm sorry. I just have to do so many disclaimers these days, but I'm saying if you are with a partner who loves and respects you, and, you know, looks after your wants and cares about your wants and needs, then they will be super, super receptive to that. And if you are dating, I guess a lot of this content is geared towards women who are dating, or looking for a potential partner, or just happily single. Like, if you're in that space, then I can see why, and especially if you want to attract a masculine man, then like an alpha, like a, you know, a boss, I can see why you would really value this kind of content, because those guys are like, well, okay, there's a high value man and then there's just a masculine man, but like, yeah, I can see why you would want to consume this content, because you're like, okay, how can I attract the kind of partner that I want? And okay, the kind of partner I want is very masculine, very much an alpha male, and therefore appreciates a more feminine and soft energy. So yeah, I get it. I get why it's such a talking point now, especially with you know, women still outnumbering men like we always have, especially black women. I get it. Tap into whatever you need to tap into if you are looking to tap into a relationship. But if you are happily single and you just want to enjoy your life and, you know, but be feminine for just all of the reasons that you can enjoy it, and you can feel more, you know, comfortable in your own skin, then do it. Whatever makes you happy. Like, I am not a trend knocker. I understand why certain things come around and keep coming around, and why you know, people really like cling to these things. It's a lot of the time it's a coping mechanism. It's something that gives you a bit more of a fire in your heart and just helps you get through everyday life, which can be mundane, it can be very tough, and we all need to find small luxuries that we can like cling to get us through. And you know what all of this stuff has taught me is that life can actually be very easy, and only you tell life what you want from it. There's a really famous quote, and if I can find it, I'll put it here on the screen. But it's like, I asked life to give me something, and that's all it gave me. But basically, if you ask of your life small, that's what you'll get back. But if you think big and you dream big and you ask for big things in your life, that's what you'll get. And so I guess what I've taken from the Black Girl Luxury movement and the soft life movement and femininity is, I need to stop telling myself that life is hard, and embracing that life is easy and life is soft and it's abundant, and everything that I want and that I need comes to me either through my own, you know, hard work, or through other people, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you deserve it any less, and I think that is what us 90s babies struggle with, is that if you haven't worked hard for something, you don't deserve it. Absolutely not. If you're a good person in life and you are good to people and you are kind and you are grateful, and you do good, but mostly your heart is pure, then you deserve everything that comes to you, and don't you ever forget about it. And that's all I've got to say on all of that. Do you know what I want to do though? I do want to do a separate video on the two things that I have really enjoyed, two topics that I've enjoyed, I think, which kind of like piggyback off of this, which is all about how to romanticize your life and how to be the main character in your life. Both of which sound very fairy tale, very silly, very, you know, at first glance, you kind of think, oh, this is very selfish, this is very whatever. But I think as a recovering people pleaser, these are two concepts that have stemmed from this whole soft life movement that I'm like, yeah, I'm taking that and I'm running with it. And so I'm going to do a video on that this month, I think. And yeah, just get your thoughts on how you guys are romanticizing your life and, you know, embracing that main character energy, and tell you how I'm doing my thing. So that is all for my chit chat. Get ready with me today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you again to Italo for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you're subscribed, because the next couple of videos are going to be, well, the next couple of chit chat videos anyway are going to be fire. And also I will be doing a Zara haul and some more like fashion content this month. So your autumn winter capsule wardrobe, think all of your closet essentials, think styling videos, think more like try on hauls, more content coming for you. So you don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss out. Yeah, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and go and check out Italo's jewellery range. It'll be linked down below. Got some gorgeous pieces on there, girls. Lots of promise rings, engagement rings, you know. 'Tis the season, Christmas is coming up, and look at this packaging. Does this not make a great gift for under the tree? So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Cause when it pop off, it's like, oh my, all good all day, but the night we be going so hard on the flip side. So tell me what we on a day, babe. I could keep that same energy. When you go low, I go low too, but you'd rather stay high, I know.